Part 1. The rescue. The snow was falling harder than Marcus Chen had seen in years. Fat, heavy flakes swirled around him as he checked his watch. 4:30 in the afternoon, and it was already getting dark. He should have been heading back to the ranger station an hour ago. Something kept pulling him deeper into the forest. Marcus had been a park ranger for 8 years. He knew these mountains like the back of his hand. Every trail, every hidden cave, every dangerous cliff. But today felt different. Today, the forest seemed to be calling to him. He stopped walking and listened. The wind howled through the tall pine trees. Snow crunched under his heavy boots. Then he heard it again, that sound that had been bothering him all day. It was faint, almost lost in the storm, but it was there. "Hello," Marcus called out, his voice echoing through the trees. "Is someone out there?" "Nothing. Just the wind." Marcus pulled his radio from his belt. "Base, this is Ranger Chen. I'm about 3 miles up the north trail. Thought I heard something." Static crackled back at him. "Marcus, get back here now. The storm is getting worse. Weather service says we might get 2 feet of snow tonight." "Copy that, Jenny. I'll head back in." A few minutes. But as Marcus clipped the radio back to his belt, he heard it again. This time, he was sure. It was a voice. A small voice. A child's voice. "Help me." Marcus's heart started beating faster. He grabbed his flashlight and started moving toward. The sound, his boots sank deep into the snow with each step. The voice came again, weaker this time. "Please, help." Marcus pushed through a thick patch of pine trees and found himself in a small clearing. His flashlight beam swept across the white ground. There, huddled against a large rock, was a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 6 or 7 years old. She was wearing a thin, strange-looking dress that seemed to shimmer in the light. No coat, no hat, no boots. Her long dark hair was covered with snow, and she was shaking badly. "Oh my God," Marcus whispered. He rushed to her side and knelt down. "Hey there, sweetheart. What are you doing out here?" The little girl looked up at him with the most beautiful eyes he had ever seen. They were silver, not gray, but actually silver, like mirrors reflecting the snow. She said something in a language Marcus didn't understand. "It's okay," Marcus said softly. He took off his heavy winter coat and wrapped it around her tiny shoulders. "You're safe now." "My name is Marcus." "What's your name?" The girl stared at him for a moment, then she spoke again, this time in broken English. "Zara. My name. Zara. It's a pretty name, Zara. Can you tell me how you got here?" "Where are your parents?" Zara's silver eyes filled with tears. She pointed up at the dark sky. "Mama, lost. Ship broken. I fell. Marcus felt confused. Ship? What kind of ship? Maybe she meant a plane? But there hadn't been any reports of missing aircraft. He looked at her strange dress again. The material felt unlike anything he had ever touched. It was soft but seemed to keep her warm, even though it was so thin. "Listen, Zara," Marcus said, trying to keep his voice calm and gentle. "We need to get you somewhere warm. I have a shelter not far from here. Can you walk?" Zara tried to stand up, but her legs gave out. She fell back into the snow with a small cry. Marcus could see that her feet were bare and probably frozen. "It's okay," he said. "I'll carry you." Marcus scooped Zara up in his arms. She was surprisingly light, almost as if she weighed nothing at all. She wrapped her small arms around his neck and buried her face against his shoulder. "Thank you," she whispered. "You, kind human. Kind human." That was a strange way to put it, but Marcus didn't have time to think about it. The storm was getting worse, and he needed to get this child to safety. Marcus's emergency shelter was a small cabin about half a mile away. He'd built it himself 3 years ago for situations just like this. As he carried Zara through the deep snow, he could feel her getting warmer in his arms. That was good. Maybe she wasn't as badly frozen as he had thought. The cabin was simple but sturdy. One room with a wood-burning stove, some canned food, blankets, and a radio. Marcus kicked the door open and carried Zara inside. He set her down gently on the small cot and immediately started building a fire. "You're safe now," he told her as he lit the kindling. "This place will warm up fast." Zara sat on the cot, still wrapped in his coat. She was looking around the cabin with those strange silver eyes, taking in every detail. When the fire started crackling, she smiled for the first time. "Fire is good," she said, her English getting better by the minute. "Fire is ... comfort." Marcus opened a can of soup and heated it over the fire. As he stirred it, he kept glancing at Zara. There was something very unusual about this child. The way she spoke, the way she looked at things, even the way she moved. It was all different. "Here," Marcus said, handing her a cup of warm soup. "This will help warm you up inside." Zara took a sip and made a happy sound. "Good. Very good. You take care of me." "Why?" "Because you needed help," Marcus said simply. "That's what people do. We help each other." Zara stared at him with those mirror-like eyes. "Not all people help. Most people... afraid of different." "Well, I'm not afraid," Marcus said. He sat down across from her. "Can you tell me more about how you got here? What happened to your family?" Zara was quiet for a long time. She finished her soup and set the cup down carefully. Then she walked to the small window and looked out at the falling snow. "Mama will come," she said softly. "When storm stops, Mama will come. She always finds me." "How will she know where you are?" Zara touched her chest, right over her heart. "She knows. We ... connected. Always connected." Marcus didn't understand what she meant, but he could see that talking about her mother made Zara feel better. He decided not to ask any more questions. Tonight, the important thing was keeping her warm and safe until help arrived. As the night went on, Marcus watched Zara do strange things. She seemed to know when the wind was going to change direction before it happened. When an owl hooted outside, she hooted back, and the owl answered. And when she fell asleep, she glowed very faintly like moonlight on water. Marcus stared into the fire and wondered what he had gotten himself into. But as he looked at the peaceful expression on Zara's sleeping face, he knew one thing for certain. Whatever was different about this little girl, he would protect her. That was just who he was. Outside, the storm raged on. But inside the little cabin, a man and a lost child were safe and warm. And somewhere in the dark sky above, something was searching for them both. Part 2. Unusual Revelations woke up to silence. The storm had stopped during the night. Sunlight was streaming through the small window of the cabin. He looked over at the cot where Zara had been sleeping, but it was empty. "Zara," Marcus called out, sitting up quickly. "Where are you?" He heard a soft giggle from outside. Marcus grabbed his boots and rushed to the door. When he opened it, he couldn't believe what he saw. Zara was standing in the middle of the clearing, surrounded by a circle of forest animals. 2 deer, a family of rabbits, 3 squirrels, and even a red fox were all sitting peacefully around. She was talking to them in soft sounds that weren't quite words, but seemed to make perfect sense to the animals. "Good morning, Marcus," Zara said without turning around. "The animals say the danger is over. The sky is calm now." Marcus stepped outside, moving slowly so he wouldn't scare the animals away, but they didn't seem afraid of him at all. The deer looked at him with calm eyes, as if Zara had told them he was a friend. "How did you... how are you doing that?" Marcus asked. Zara smiled and made a soft clicking sound. The animals all stood up and walked away peacefully, back into the forest. "They understand feelings," she said simply. "I show them I am friend. They show me they are friend too." Marcus stared at her. In the morning light, he could see that her strange dress had somehow cleaned itself overnight. It looked brand new, and it seemed to change color slightly as she moved, like oil on water. "Zara, we need to get you back to the ranger station," Marcus said. "There will be people looking for you. Your mother will be worried." "Yes." Zara nodded. "Mama is very worried, but she knows I am safe now. She can feel it." They walked back toward the main trail. Marcus carried his pack, but Zara walked beside him easily, even though the snow was still knee-deep. Her bare feet didn't seem to get cold, and she moved through the snow like it wasn't there. "Are you warm enough?" Marcus asked. "I have extra socks if you need them." "I am always warm," Zara said. "My body makes its own heat. All my people do. Your people." Zara looked up at him with those silver eyes. "Yes, My people, we are, travelers. We go many places, see many worlds. Worlds. Marcus felt a strange chill that had nothing to do with the cold air. What do you mean by worlds, Zara? Before she could answer, they heard voices calling through the forest. Marcus. Marcus, where are you? It was Jenny from the ranger station, along with 2 other rangers. Marcus could see them through the trees, moving slowly through the deep snow. Over here, Marcus called back. Jenny and the others reached them. A few minutes later, when they saw Zara, their faces showed surprise and confusion. Marcus, who is this? Jenny asked. She was looking at Zara's unusual dress and bare feet. Honey, are you okay? Are you hurt? This is Zara, Marcus said. I found her in the storm last night. She got separated from her family. Jenny knelt down in front of Zara. Hi there, sweetheart. Can you tell me your last name? Do you know your parents' phone number? Zara looked at Marcus, then back at Jenny. My family name is difficult to say in your language, but my mama will come for me. Soon. Where do you live, honey? Asked Tom, one of the other rangers. Zara pointed up at the clear blue sky. Far away, very far. The adults exchanged worried looks. Jenny stood up and pulled Marcus aside. Marcus, we need to call this in, she whispered. There's something very strange about this little girl. Her clothes, the way she talks, and look at her feet. She's been walking barefoot in the snow, but there's no frostbite, no cuts, nothing. Marcus looked back at Zara. She was now talking to Tom, answering his questions in what sounded like perfect Spanish, even though Tom had been speaking English. How many languages do you speak, Zara? Tom was asking. I speak the language of whoever I am talking to, Zara said simply. It is automatic. Jenny grabbed Marcus's arm. What? We need to get her to the station right now. What? And we need to call the authorities. Back at the ranger station, things got even stranger. While Jenny was making phone calls, Marcus sat with Zara in the break room. She was drawing pictures with crayons. But her drawings weren't like any child's artwork Marcus had ever seen. She drew perfect circles that looked like planets. She drew complex patterns that looked like star maps. And she drew pictures of tall, graceful beings with silver eyes just like hers. Is this your family? Marcus asked, pointing to one of the drawings. Yes, Zara said. That is Mama. She is commander of our ship. Very important, very smart. What kind of ship, Zara? Zara thought. For a moment, as if trying to find the right words. It flies between stars. It carries my people to places we have never seen before. We learn about different worlds, different kinds of life. Marcus felt his heart beating faster. Zara, are you saying you're not from Earth? Earth? Zara tilted. Her head? Is that what you call this world? It is very beautiful, full of life and green growing things. My people like places like this. Before Marcus could ask more questions, Jenny came back into the room. Her face was pale and worried. Marcus, I need to talk to you, she said quietly. They stepped into the hallway. Jenny looked around to make sure no one could hear them. Called the state police, she whispered. There are no missing children reports that match her description. No missing persons. No reports of plane crashes. Nothing. It's like she doesn't exist. What does that mean? I don't know, but there's more. I also called Dr. Martinez at the hospital. He's coming up here to check on her, and Marcus... Jenny paused. I also had to call the FBI. The FBI. Why? Because something is not right here. This child is not normal. The way she talks, the things she knows, those eyes. Marcus, I think we might be dealing with something we don't understand. They went back into the break room. Zara was still drawing, but now she had stopped using the crayons. She was drawing with her finger, and the lines were glowing softly on the paper. Zara, Marcus said carefully, how are you doing that? Zara looked up at him and smiled. Light comes from inside, she said, like this. She touched Marcus's hand, and suddenly the small cut he had gotten on his finger yesterday was completely healed. The skin looked like it had never been injured. Marcus stared at his hand, then at Zara, Jenny made a small gasping sound behind him. You were hurt, Zara said simply. Now you are better. I like to help friends. Outside, they could hear cars. Pulling up. Through the window, Marcus saw black SUVs with government license plates. Men in dark suits were getting out. Zara stood up quickly, her silver eyes wide with fear. They want to take me away, she said, but I cannot go with them. Mama said never go with the scared people, only stay with kind people. She grabbed Marcus's hand. You are kind people. You will protect me. Marcus looked at her frightened face, then at the men approaching the building. He had a choice to make, and he had to make it fast. Yes, he said firmly. I'll protect you. That night, as Zara slept in the station's guest room, Marcus stood outside looking up at the stars. They seemed brighter than usual, and he could swear. One of them was moving slowly across the sky. She's coming, Zara's voice said softly behind him. Marcus turned. Zara was standing in the doorway, still in the clothes Marcus had found for her. Who's coming, Zara? Zara smiled and pointed at the moving star. Mama, she found me. Part 3. First contact. The moving star was getting bigger. What had looked like a tiny dot of light was now clearly something much larger. Marcus could see that it wasn't a star at all. It was some kind of craft, and it was coming down toward them. Zara, we need to go inside, Marcus said, trying to keep his voice calm. Those government people are still here. They see this? ... No, Zara said firmly. Mama comes for me. The craft was beautiful. The craft was beautiful. Marcus could see that it was shaped like a teardrop made of silver light. It made no sound at all, just drifted down through the night sky like a falling leaf. It was big, maybe the size of a city bus, but it moved with such grace that it seemed to weigh nothing. Other people were coming out of the ranger station now. Jenny appeared beside Marcus, her mouth hanging open. The men in dark suits were running outside, talking rapidly into their phones and radios. Nobody move, one of the agents shouted. Everyone stay exactly where you are. But Zara was already running toward the open area where the craft was landing. Marcus didn't think, he just ran after her. Zara, wait. The craft touched down on the snow without making any mark or depression, just sat there, glowing softly. Then a section of the side began to open, like a door made of light itself. A figure stepped out, and Marcus's breath caught in his throat. If Zara was beautiful, her mother was magnificent. She was tall, maybe 7 feet, with long silver hair that seemed to move like water, even though there was no wind. Her skin was pale and seemed to glow from within, and her eyes were the same silver as Zara's, but larger and deeper. She wore clothing that looked like it was made from starlight itself. Mama. Zara cried out and ran into her mother's arms. The woman, no? Marcus realized. The alien picked up Zara and held her close. When she spoke, her voice was like music. My little star, she said in perfect English. I was so worried. Then she looked at Marcus. Her silver eyes met his, and Marcus felt like she was looking right into his soul. You, she said, and Marcus could hear surprise in her voice. You are the one who saved my daughter. Marcus found his voice. Yes. I found her in the storm. Is she? Are you both okay? Behind him, Marcus could hear the government agents shouting orders. He could hear vehicles arriving, probably military trucks. But somehow none of that seemed important, right? Now the alien woman walked toward Marcus, still carrying Zara. Up close. Marcus could see that she wasn't quite human-looking. Her features were more delicate, more perfect than any human could be, but her eyes were kind. My name is Lyra, she said. I am commander of the exploration vessel Star Whisper. And you are Marcus Chen, guardian of this forest. How do you know? My name, Zara told me, Lyra said simply. She can speak to me through thought, across any distance. She has been telling me about your kindness since the moment you found her. Lyra knelt down and set Zara on her feet, but she kept looking at Marcus. My daughter says you risked your own safety to keep her warm and fed. You gave her your coat. You carried her to shelter, protected her from those who would harm her. Anyone would have done the same thing, Marcus said. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. Oh, she said softly. No, they would not. We have visited many worlds, met many species. Most beings fear what they do not understand. Most would have run away or tried to capture something different. But you saw a frightened child and offered help. Get away from it, one of the agents was shouting. Step back now. Lyra looked toward the men with their weapons and radios. Her expression became sad. And there are the others, she said quietly. The ones who see strangers as enemies. They're just scared, Marcus said. They don't understand. Yes, Lyra nodded. Fear makes people do terrible things. It is the same on many worlds. Zara tugged on her mother's hand. Mama, Marcus is good. He gave me soup. He made fire to keep me warm. He said people should help each other. Lyra looked at Marcus with new interest. You believe people should help each other? Even strangers? Even those who are different? Of course, Marcus said. We're all just trying to survive in this universe. We should take care of each other. For a long moment, Lyra was quiet. She seemed to be studying Marcus's face, looking for something. Finally, she spoke. My people are called the Stellari, she said. We are explorers and healers. We travel between stars, learning about life in all its forms. We have been watching your world for many years. Watching us? Why? Because your species is young, but shows great promise. You have the ability to be either very cruel or very kind. We wanted to see which path humanity would choose. Marcus felt a chill. And what have you decided? Most of your people choose fear, Lyra said honestly. They build walls instead of bridges. They fight instead of talking. Sometimes, ... Sometimes we find individuals like you, people who choose kindness even when it is difficult. The government. Agents were getting closer now. Marcus could see more vehicles arriving, military trucks with soldiers. Someone was setting up big lights and equipment. You need to go, Marcus said urgently. We'll try to capture you, study you. I don't think they'll listen to reason. I know, Lyra said calmly. We have dealt with such people before on other worlds, but Marcus... ... double quotes. There is something I must tell you. Something important. What? Lyra looked at Zara, then back at Marcus.
Right.
My people have the ability to sense the inner nature of other beings. We can see the light that lives inside their hearts. And you, Marcus Chen, your light is very rare. Didn't understand what she meant, but before he could ask, Zara spoke up. Marcus has good light, Mama. Very bright. Like family light. Family light. Marcus was about to ask what that meant when bright spotlights suddenly blazed to life, illuminating the whole area. Military vehicles surrounded them, and soldiers were jumping out with weapons raised. This is Colonel Stevens, United States Army, a voice boomed through a loudspeaker. Unknown entities, you are surrounded. Release the hostages and surrender immediately, Lyra sighed sadly. Always the same, she murmured. Fear and weapons. She looked at Marcus one more time. Thank you for saving my daughter. Your kindness will not be forgotten. Wait, Marcus said quickly. What did you mean about family light? What were you trying to tell me? But Lyra was already lifting Zara into her arms and walking back toward their ship. The craft's door began to open again. Will I ever see you again? Marcus called out. Lyra paused and looked back at him. That depends, she said mysteriously, on whether you are ready for your life to change completely. Before Marcus could ask what she meant, the ship began to glow brighter. The soldiers were shouting, but their weapons seemed to have no effect on the alien craft, as the ship began to rise into the night sky. Zara waved at Marcus from the doorway. Goodbye, Papa Marcus, she called out. See you soon, Papa Marcus. Why had she called him that? The ship disappeared into the stars, leaving Marcus standing in the snow with 100 questions and no answers. But somehow, he knew this wasn't the end of the story. It was just the beginning. Part 4. An impossible proposal 3 days passed, and Marcus couldn't stop thinking about Lyra and Zara. The government people had asked him 1,000 questions. They wanted to know everything about the little girl, the alien ship, what the aliens ship, what the aliens had said. Marcus told them the truth, but he could see they didn't believe half of it. Aliens don't just have friendly conversations, Ranger Chen, Colonel Stevens had said. There has to be more to this story. But there wasn't more. At least, not that Marcus understood. He was sitting on his porch that evening drinking coffee and watching the stars when the air in front of him began to shimmer. Slowly, like a picture forming on water, Lyra appeared. She wasn't really there. Marcus could see through her, but her voice was clear. "Hello, Marcus," she said softly. "I hope I am not frightening you." Marcus nearly dropped his coffee cup. "Lyra, how are you? Are you really here?" "Not in body," Lyra explained. "This is a projection. I'm speaking to you from our ship, which is hidden beyond your moon. I wanted to talk to you privately." "Why?" Lyra's image walked closer. Even as a projection, she was beautiful. "Because I have something very important to ask you, something that will sound impossible." Marcus set down his coffee and leaned forward. "I'm listening." "First, let me explain about my people," Lyra began. "Stellari live for many centuries, form bonds with our life partners that last for hundreds of years. These bonds are not just emotional, they are spiritual. We can sense when someone is compatible with our soul." Marcus nodded, though he wasn't sure he understood. "I was bonded to my mate for over 300 years, Lyra continued. "When he died in an accident 50 years ago, I thought I would never find another compatible soul. My people believed this too. It's very rare for a Stellare to find more than one true match in a lifetime." "I'm sorry for your loss," Marcus said quietly. Lyra smiled sadly. "Thank you. But Marcus, when I met you 3 days ago, something extraordinary happened. My body recognized your spiritual signature, your soul. It matches mine." Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. "What does that mean?" "It means," Lyra said carefully, "that you and I are compatible as life partners, that we could form a true bond, one that would last for centuries." Marcus stared at her. But I'm human. You're alien. How is that even possible?" "Love and compatibility do not depend on species," Lyra said. "They depend on the nature of the soul. Your soul, Marcus, is extraordinary. It is filled with kindness, courage, and a deep desire to protect others. These are the qualities my people value most." Marcus stood up and started pacing on his porch. This was too much to process. "Lyra, I barely know you, and you barely know me." "That is not entirely true," Lyra said. "I have been observing you since the night you saved Zara. I have seen your thoughts, your feelings, your memories. I know that you have always felt like you don't quite belong in your world. I know that you have always dreamed of something greater, something more meaningful." Marcus stopped pacing. She was right. It always felt like there was something missing from his life, like he was meant for something bigger than just being a park ranger in the mountains. "But even if what you're saying is true," Marcus said, "what are you asking me to do?" Lyra's image flickered slightly, as if the connection was getting weaker. "I'm asking you to come with me, Marcus, to leave Earth and join my family among the stars. Leave Earth. Forever. Yes, you would become Zara's second parent. She has already chosen you, which is why she called you Papa. You would help me raise her and any other children we might have. You would serve as a bridge between your people and mine, helping humanity prepare for the day when they are ready to join the galactic community." Marcus felt dizzy. "This is crazy. This is absolutely insane." "I know it sounds overwhelming," Lyra said gently. "But Marcus, think about your life here. Are you truly happy? Do you feel fulfilled?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment. The truth was, he wasn't truly happy. He loved his job, but he had always felt lonely. He had never married, never had children. His friends thought he was too serious, too focused on helping others instead of himself. "What about my life here?" he asked. "And my job, my house, my few friends?" "You would be giving up one life to gain a much larger one," Lyra said. "You would see wonders you cannot imagine. You would help shape the future of 2 species. And you would have a family that loves you, How do you know Zara loves me? She barely knows me. Lyra smiled. Children see souls more clearly than adults do. From the moment you picked her up in that snowstorm, she knew you were meant to be her father. She has been asking about you constantly since we left. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. He'd always wanted children but never found the right person to have them with. And in just one night, he had felt more connection to little Zara than he had felt to anyone in years. But I'm just a human, Marcus said. What could I possibly offer to an advanced alien civilization? You offer humanity's greatest gift, Lyra said. The ability to love unconditionally, to sacrifice for others without expecting anything in return, to see strangers as potential friends instead of enemies. These qualities are rare in the universe, Marcus. They are precious beyond measure. Before Marcus could respond, they heard helicopters approaching, military helicopters flying low and fast toward his house. They tracked our communication, Lyra said urgently. I must go. But Marcus, I need an answer soon. My people cannot stay in this system much longer. It is becoming too dangerous. How much time do I have? One day. Tomorrow night I will return for your answer. If you choose to come with us, you will need to be ready to leave immediately. The helicopters were getting closer. Lyra's image was fading. Marcus, she called out as she disappeared. If you choose to stay, I will understand. But know that you will always have a place with us, and Zara will always remember her Papa Marcus. The projection vanished completely, just as the helicopters landed in Marcus's yard. Soldiers poured out, surrounding his house with weapons drawn. Ranger Chen. Colonel Stevens shouted through a loudspeaker. Come out with your hands up. We know you've been in contact with the aliens. Marcus looked up at the stars one more time. Somewhere up there, a little girl with silver eyes was waiting to hear if he would become her father. Though da-da-da-da. And a woman who claimed to be his soulmate was asking him to give up everything he had ever known. He had less than 24 hours to make the biggest decision of his life. As the soldiers closed in on his house, Marcus realized that no matter what he chose, his quiet life in the mountains was over forever. Part 5. A New Beginning. Marcus spent the whole night sitting in a military holding room, answering the same questions over and over again. Colonel Stevens and his team didn't believe that Lyra had just appeared as a projection. They thought Marcus was lying, hiding something important. Ranger Chen, the colonel said for the 10th time, aliens don't just chat with random humans. What did they really want? What's their plan? I told you, Marcus said tiredly. She wanted to thank me for helping her daughter. That's all. It wasn't all, and Marcus knew it. Kept thinking about Lyra's offer. Leave Earth forever, become Zara's father, help two species understand each other. It sounded like something from a science fiction movie, not real life. Yet somehow, it felt more real than anything else in his life had ever felt. Finally, at dawn, Jenny came to get him. She had convinced the military to let Marcus go back to his ranger duties, but with guards watching him at all times. Marcus, she said quietly as they walked to her truck. Are you okay? You look like you haven't slept at all. I'm fine, Marcus lied, just tired. But he wasn't fine. He kept thinking about what Lyra had said. Are you truly happy? Do you feel fulfilled? The answer was no. He loved helping people, loved protecting the forest. But he had always felt like something was missing from his life. That evening, as the sun was setting, Marcus was at his ranger station filling out reports. The military guards were outside, watching the building. They had set up cameras and listening devices everywhere, hoping to catch any alien contact. But Marcus knew that wouldn't stop Lyra if she wanted to reach him. At exactly midnight, Marcus felt the air change. The guards outside suddenly stopped, moving like they had fallen asleep standing up. The cameras and electronic equipment all went dark. Lyra appeared in the center of the room. But this time, she wasn't just a projection. She was really there, glowing softly in the darkness. Hello, Marcus, she said gently. Have you made your decision? Marcus looked at her beautiful, kind face. I have so many questions. Ask them. What if I can't learn to live on an alien ship? What if I can't adapt to your technology, your culture? You will learn, Lyra said confidently. Humans are very adaptable, and I will help you every step of the way. What if Zara decides she doesn't want me as a father after all? Lyra smiled. Would you like to ask her yourself? The air shimmered, and suddenly Zara was there too, running toward Marcus with her arms open. Papa Marcus, she cried, hugging him tightly. I missed you so much. Marcus knelt down and hugged her back. Holding this little girl felt so right, so natural. I missed you too, little star. Did Mama tell you? You can come live with us. We can be a real family. Marcus looked up at Lyra. What happens to Earth, to humanity? Your people will continue to grow and learn, Lyra said. When they are ready, when they choose cooperation over conflict, we will make formal contact. You could help with that process, and if I stay here, Lyra's expression became sad, then you stay. We will remember you always, but we must continue our journey. There are other worlds to explore, other species to help. Marcus felt his heart breaking at the thought of never seeing them again. In just a few days, this woman and child had become more important to him than anyone else in his life. But Marcus, Zara said, tugging on his shirt, if you come with us, I can show you the star whales, and the singing crystals, and the floating cities. Marcus laughed despite his confusion. Star whales? They're beautiful, Zara said excitedly. They swim through space and sing to each other across the galaxy. Mama says humans would love them because humans love music and beautiful things. Outside, Marcus could hear helicopters approaching again. The military was coming back. You must go, Lyra said urgently. Marcus, what is your answer? Marcus stood up and looked around the ranger station. This place had been his home for 8 years. He had been happy here in his simple way. But looking at Lyra and Zara, he realized he had never felt the kind of deep, complete happiness he felt right now. If I come with you, he said slowly, I can never come back to Earth. Not never, Lyra said, but not for many years. Perhaps decades. Marcus thought about his life on Earth. He had no family left. His few friends were scattered across the country. His job, while meaningful, could be done by someone else. But this little girl needed a father. This woman was offering him a love that could last centuries. And humanity might one day need someone who understood both worlds. I need to get something, Marcus said suddenly. He ran to his desk and pulled out a small wooden box. Inside was his father's compass, the only thing he had kept from his childhood. His father had been an explorer too, always dreaming of new places to see. Would understand, Marcus said quietly. The helicopters were getting closer. Lyra held out her hand. Are you ready, Marcus Chen? Marcus looked at Zara's excited face, at Lyra's loving smile. He thought about all the wonders they had described, all the ways he could help both species understand each other. Yes, he said, taking Lyra's hand. I'm ready. The moment their hands touched, Marcus felt a warm, electric feeling spread through his whole body. It was like coming home after being lost for years. Zara grabbed his other hand, and suddenly they were surrounded by light. The ranger station faded away, and Marcus found himself standing in the most beautiful place he had ever seen. He was inside the alien ship, but it didn't feel cold or mechanical. It felt alive, warm, welcoming. The walls glowed with soft colors that changed like the northern lights. Through a large window, he could see Earth getting smaller below them. Welcome to your new home, Lyra said softly. Zara was bouncing with excitement. Papa Marcus, look. You can see the whole world from here. Marcus stared down at the blue and green planet where he had spent his whole life. It looked so peaceful from up here, so beautiful. He hoped that someday, when humanity was ready, they would be able to see it the way he was seeing it now, as just one wonderful world among many. Do you regret your choice? Lyra asked, watching his face carefully. Marcus looked at her then, at Zara, then out at the stars that were calling to them. For the first time in his life, he felt completely certain about something. No, he said, putting his arms around both of them. This is exactly where I belong. As their ship flew toward the stars, Marcus Chen began his new life as a bridge between worlds. A father to a remarkable little girl, and a partner to an extraordinary woman who had seen something special in a simple human's heart. Behind them, Earth continued to turn, unaware that one of its children was now traveling among the stars, carrying humanity's greatest gifts, love, compassion, and hope, to the wider universe. The adventure was just beginning.